pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to advise those present that notice of this regular meeting of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken has been provided to the public in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice of this regular meeting of Thursday, July 9th was given by publication of the annual meeting notice of the authority with amendments as necessary, and was sent to the Star Ledger on Tuesday, June 30th as notification to the general public of the meeting, sent to the City Clerk of Hoboken on Tuesday, June 30th, 2026, with a copy of the agenda to be posted on the bulletin board in City Hall, Hoboken Library, and Hoboken Police Department, and posted on the authority's website on Tuesday, June 30th, 2026. I direct the minutes of this meeting to state that I have announced that adequate notice of this meeting has been given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act.
Ready for the roll?
Yes, please direct.
David Edwards. Present. Anthony Forbes. See him up there. Barbara Reyes.
Present.
Jean Rodriguez.
Here.
Erica Seitzman.
Here.
Matthew Testa.
Here.
Carmen Vega.
I think we can proceed with our report.
Thank you. Chairperson, appreciate that. All right. On the committees, it was a slow month for it. I think everyone's running around on vacation and stuff. We'll try to make up for it in the coming month. But the Finance Committee did meet on June 30th, a range of issues, budgeting, financial reports. And later in my report, we'll be presenting a new Finance Committee dashboard that the staff and committee has been developing, focusing on the management and tenant accounts receivables. Resident concerns from last meeting regarding Ms. Goodwin, who came and spoke. We did meet with her this afternoon and had a nice long meeting with her. We're familiar with the incident and taking action as appropriate. Ray Rodriguez addressed the board last, saying I would not allow him to have a ping pong tables. That's just not true. He's allowed to have ping pong tables. We just have no place to store them when he's not using it. No place to store them. He wants to store them back in our boiler room, and that's just not allowed. We can't have storage stuff in a maintenance mechanical area. So we told him that and explained it, but I don't know why he continues to insist. In his proposal, originally he did state that he utilized the 411 community room on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 to 6. Said nothing about areas outside of the community room or equipment storage. So that's kind of where we are with him right now, and we're setting up another meeting with him to talk about it. Ms. Rollins mentioned charge for a light fixture. I believe that was taken care of with management. I found out today after I wrote this, I think that's taken care of with her. That we should notify residents when a renovation project will be causing excessive noise. Granted, understood, good point. We will try to do better. And as far as the new vehicle, we did talk about it subsequently at the meeting, that we have a prior vehicle that it's so old that is costing more than it's worth to keep it running, and we're going to be auctioning it off. Ms. Vega did speak as a resident. The security guard at Fox Hill, having individuals sign in, we did talk to the security firm, and we're looking forward to better performance by them on that. A tree that needs to be trimmed is a willow, and Sammy's trying to kind of find out from the tree experts exactly how to trim that. Other issues from the executive side, stormy weather, right? We had quite a storm that came through Hoboken. Very proud of our maintenance team that got out and cleared sidewalks, cleared drives. CCG experienced quite a lot of damage. Landed on a car out in the street. Got one of our steel fences and wrecked it. We're still cleaning up from some of that. As you can imagine, once everything falls, everyone's calling the tree service. So we get the emergencies first, and then we're cleaning up the rest. Adams Gardens was without power for a number of hours due to trees falling on 2 transformers in the Adams area, knocking out the power. And we are waiting on a final report from our generator company on the generator situation. Really upset me that it's a new generator and it didn't kick on. They did come out, but there's still no excuse for that. I would like to thank publicly the Hoboken Police. Hello. Willie, how are you? That arrived on the scene with our staff, checking on residents, going door to door, making sure when the lights were out, people were good, people had what they need. Just can't thank them enough for that kind of help. We couldn't have done it without them. And then again, special thanks to Sammy and his crew for clearing sidewalks in public areas. I did tell Sammy that lumberjack's not in their job description, but they came through as lumberjacks. I've got my quarterly executive meet and greets coming up over the next month or so. The next round I've got listed, Andrew Jackson Harrison will be on Tuesday the 21st of July at 5 p.m. Monroe, July 22nd at 11 a.m. Adams, July 22nd at 2 p.m. and CCG Tuesday, July 28th at 5 p.m. And I can't believe I left off Fox Hill on my list. That will be Tuesday the 28th at 10 a.m. Of course, we will have flyers going out. We do that about a week ahead of time so they don't get stale. But everyone will know. And please, Fox Hill has great attendance at those. I mean, Fox Hill is tremendous. You guys come down. So we're hoping for good attendance at those all the time. Adams, Monroe also has good attendance. Andrew Jackson and Harrison, we're hoping for good things. We do have a new president over at Harrison. No one ran last time. So they got a petition up and a new president. Her name is Sandy Pippin. She attended our RAB board meeting this past week, and she seems like a very capable person. We're really, really happy to have her on board at the RAB representing Harrison.
Nice.
So she's promised to get out and get people to our meetings. Our CDBG application is kind of still waiting to hear finally, officially, from the city. Kind of hear that we've got the money to do these things, or at least most of it. And as soon as they tell us, we'll be off and running. And that includes cameras on each floor at Fox Hill, roof replacement at Fox Hill, installation of fences and gates over at Monroe parking lot. So we're just waiting for those. We have talked to the board a number of times about tax credit training, and we're proposing that training be held Tuesday, August 18th from 7 to 9 p.m., conducted by Baker Tilly, and would be a crash course in understanding low-income housing tax credits. So again, on August 18th is what we're proposing from 7 to 9 p.m. For a crash course in understanding tax credits for the Housing for Hoboken Board, for the Board of Commissioners, and for staff. Tax credits are a tool that will be front and center as we progress through our redevelopment. It's important that the board and trustees understand the necessity and the process involved in these tax credits. I see that Harold is on the line with us today. Mr. Harold, can you hear us? We can't hear you.
I'm here.
Oh,
I've been on since the beginning, Mark.
Yeah, we saw you up there. I do have a question. If we have the board together on August 18th, Harold, will we need what kind of notice will we need for a special meeting?
If it's not a discussion by the board, you won't need any, but if it is, we will need to talk about it. You and I talked about that before, and we agreed that once it was scheduled, we would circle back. The last I heard is that Frank was still working on an agenda with respect to it, and that would put in perspective how we're going to conduct the meeting, and we'll answer your question.
Okay, it'll be a strict training, but we could talk more. But I'm hoping, basically, Harold, just to keep the board comfortable, that they don't have to vote on anything or establish a special meeting tonight, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you, Harold. Okay. So,
Worst case, we could do something before the regular board meeting on the 13th of August.
okay,
But
great.
unless they're going to substantively discuss matters that develop at that meeting, there will not need to be notice.
Okay, I think we'll be okay because it's pure training. So thank you for that, Harold. And again, if folks really have a problem with that date, please get in touch with me, and we'll try to be as flexible as possible. But we got to pick a date, and we got to make it happen. So, good stuff. We've not yet assigned a full-time manager for Andrew Jackson Gardens. That will be coming soon. And I do want to make a special note. We've talked a couple times about the anticipated assistant to the CFO position, but I am holding off on filling that position due to budgetary concerns for next year. Next year is looking tight. We're going to talk about budgets here a little bit later, but next year's looking, I think, the tightest year that I've seen since I've been here. This year in admin, if you remember, we added a modernization analyst, we added a lease enforcement officer, both things badly needed and both that are proving to make us more efficient. The mod analyst has actually taken some work off of Emil on the contracting, and she's really paying off at this point on we're dealing with the architects, she's got on a learning curve, but learning fast. A very bright young lady, Natalie. She's not here, but I'll brag on her. But she's doing great. Which is taking some stuff off of Emil. And then we also did the lease enforcement officer, which is already paying some dividends for us. So we bolstered the admin in that regard. But in light of having improved our administrative capability, I'm holding off on the new position to see where we land on the budget a little more clearly. Personnel policy, we continue working with Local 97. We basically got that ready to go. Local 97 had a problem with one part of our personnel policy. We think we've come to consensus with them. I think we've got that solved. We have one final meeting with them, and then to bring it back to the members of Local 97 and the staff to make sure they're comfortable with it. And once that happens, then we'll bring it back to the board. We think we can make that happen by August. So it depends a little bit on the union, but we're pushing that ahead. We think we've got a good agreement there. And Mr. Merchant will brief us on our Hoboken Forward 1 Urban Renewal H4 initiatives on our attachment 1. Frank, take it away.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start by, if I may, before we start, I just want to thank, we have Sergeant Collins here, and I want to thank him, the police department, and our residents for an uneventful 4th of July. So I really appreciate it. Everybody was able to have a good time without having to, go too far. So thank you. I appreciate you guys. Yes, I would like to start with what you already talked about, Director, the training that we're going to do for the low-income tax credits. So this is not going to be specific to our project. I wanted to talk about that specifically because it's only to give us the 101 basics of the program. We're not going to be saying, well, our building is 165 units. How does that look? That's not what this is. This is more like the basics of how the program works, how a deal would be put together in general terms. But it's something that I think is very timely and necessary right now as we're moving forward into the next few steps, that everyone feels comfortable, have heard the terms and understand what we're getting into. To tie into that a little bit, there is policy that is going through the Senate and Congress right now that is going to benefit. The banks are going to be able to extend their cap from 15 to 20% of their total available excess dollars to be able to put into redevelopment. So that's good. If it goes through, that's still, it needs to be ratified, but it's right now positioned, it has the votes, and I don't think that even with that it can be vetoed. So that would be good for us in general. As we have spoken a little bit about in the past, we know that our first building is going on the site of a parking lot. And we're very cognizant of the tenants that are parking in that area right now. So what we're working on is a plan with the architect, and we've developing on how we're going to do it within our property, right? But there's an extra layer to that. We do have residents who are either disabled, senior, or handicapped that have parking spaces very close to the building right now. So what we've done is we've reached out to the city, and they've been gracious enough to entertain us. We're going to explore how maybe on Harrison or Jackson we can work with the city on allowing some of those residents to stay closest as possible to Harrison Gardens. So that's good news. We're going to keep pushing on that, and I thank the city for their open mind on that. As we're continuing our phase 1 approvals, we're not taking eyes off of our potential parallel track to phase 1, which is that property at the end of our property, which is the second in Marshall, previous PSC&G site that we're really trying to push on. In fact, we are currently right now waiting RFPs back, proposals back. We have an RFP for an LSRP to give us that piece of land has already been reviewed, and there is already an LSRP opinion on that. So what we're doing is we're getting a second opinion on behalf of the Housing Authority that will tell us what it would take to bring that property up to residential. So that's an important piece that can unlock serious expediting of the total redevelopment. Regular stuff that we're continuing to do is we're continuing to work on the Part 58, and we're working on internal dashboards to help the communications here that we're doing. I want to thank Commissioner Edwards. I know that as we get together in these committees, whether it's Housing for Hoboken, Finance, or whatever, we come up with ideas, and that's great. But what I like the most is that we come up with ideas and then actually have takeaway action items. Some of them are these dashboards. One of them is this idea. We went to a conference, and they were talking about how housing authorities are moving away from the reliance on the subsidy from HUD. And how can we become more like the private sector, where we, by being fiduciarily responsible, find a way to bring in dollars that can then, we can guarantee that our mission can be looked after for years to come, even if HUD doesn't have all the funds available. So that leads me to the fact that we're starting the process of trying to get a credit rating, because if we can get a credit rating, as we are right now, we are kind of like a little child in the development world. We have a very solid development partner that's giving us kind of like a journeyman that has a person that walks with them, right? So we're walking with this developer partner. As we are gaining capacity internally, looking into the future, for future phases, if we can have bond rating and if we can issue our own bonds, and we have now the capacity, now we can start to be maybe our own developer in some of the deals, or maybe we can start to think outside the box of ways to maybe start thinking about that workforce housing, or maybe how else can we expand outside of our transfer of assistance that we know that we can do the one-for-one, but the more we can do financially, the more we will be able to expand our numbers into the future. So that's a big part of what we've been doing there. And most importantly, we are working with the city right now on finalizing the RDA, the redevelopment agreement with the city. We have been going back and forth with some minor comments. The city has sent back their final review, which was very good, and we now need to just respond to them. And so I think that even though we did not make the 120-day calendar, which, as Mr. Fitzpatrick will tell you, we never thought we could. That was a lofty goal. But we got pretty close, and they're willing to. We're going to put in for an extension if necessary, but we are at the point where they've given us their comments, and we're going to finalize the last few little steps, which will then bring us to planning board. So the future of the redevelopment right now is finalizing the RDA so that we can then go to the planning board, so that we can then start the financing and get that lasagna of financing sources put together, and hopefully be breaking ground next spring sometime.
You want to mention our grant application?
Yes, and I want to thank Sandy and Emil for, we had an opportunity that came in from one of our Hall of Famers, Latrenda. She saw an opportunity, sent it our way, and we put in for it. It's an application. City Group is putting out a $1 million grant. There are 20 of them that specifically to help redevelopers or developers gain capacity if they can prove that they will either continue to maintain affordable housing somewhere, or if they would expand affordable housing. So we seem to fit the criteria. So this first step that we did was basically fill out it's a pre-application that basically says, if we think that you qualify, we'll allow you to fill out an RFP. So we did the first pass, and in that first pass, they're gonna then, I would imagine, thousands of people around the country will put in for it. If we're lucky enough, we will then get contacted and then to put in for an RFP. So, but even though it's not guaranteed money, it's just a great exercise to start, and we really want to start going down that road. We're going to look for as much free dollars as possible. There is a lot of interest in wanting to maintain and expand affordable housing throughout the country, and we should allow people a vehicle to want to put their money, so we'll find them an avenue. So I just want to thank everyone for all the effort and time that they put into these committees. We stay late at night, but as long as we're getting something done, it's worth it. So I appreciate your time, and thank you.
We appreciate your effort. Just in making a note on what Frank was referring to is, I think the Hoboken Housing Authority has started to branch out from just HUD subsidy. I mean, that's been our life, and it hasn't been my life in other places I've been, but it has been here. And I think our natural progression over time is not to give up on that subsidy. We love it. Thank you, HUD. That will not go. We will have public or subsidized housing through HUD. Guaranteed. That's our commitment. But we also need to start looking at what other options are out there and how we can grow other than HUD subsidy, and how we can make the Hoboken Housing Authority 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, not only preserving our housing, which is a slam dunk, but also increasing it. Also talking about how we can make sure that that cash flow is real, that your kids and your grandkids also have affordable housing down the line. We have discovered that HUD's a finicky provider. Sometimes they give you 90%, sometimes they give you 85%, we just don't know. And so the answer, I think, is to start diversifying and taking a look and building that capacity so that we can do some other things as we go down the line. And then you'll be hearing more about that. And so we're taking those steps now. Thank you for that, Frank. Nothing significantly new on project-based vouchers. I continue to meet with residents in my office as they fill out applications to come in and see me. I do have some good news that we think we're going to be ready in August to start rolling out online payments from bank accounts. That folks can sign up and be able to have their rent amounts deducted automatically from their bank account. So we're moving on that. And we think we've crossed some hurdles on that over the next month. We'll be bringing that to you in very short order. Fox Hill Management, Housing for Hoboken, met on June 23rd. The current improvements at Fox Hill are completed except for a punch list. which are the storm doors and some concrete repairs. We are going to need more and further concrete repair here in our next cycle. So we are developing that plan now. We're meeting with the architect to come back and take a look at more repairs on concrete. We were looking at windows. We were looking at those knee walls that are in everyone's unit that the wind blows through so easily. And we will still try to do that. But the concrete repair is crucial. The balconies and concrete repair, we got to make sure we have that done. We hope to have at least a decent plan by the time we meet on our meet and greet. When I come back here for our meet and greet, what do we say, July 20? One of those months. July 28th, 10 o'clock a.m. right here. We hope to have a more fleshed out plan by that time to talk about Fox Hill and the next round of money to be spent here on capital improvements. On our special projects report, bid opening is going to be held on July 29th for our next round of monthly extermination services. The dumpster containerization project, we had the dumpsters delivered today. They're stacked up behind 400 along the light rail. This week they'll be starting installation, so you'll get to see them soon. Bathtub replacement, we have replaced 20 so far. We've got 12 bathtubs remaining under contract, and we're proceeding with those on an as-needed basis. Fox Hill door replacement I mentioned already. On our boiler replacements, all of our concrete pad replacements have been completed. So yes, for those of you at Andrew Jackson, no more banging noises first thing in the morning to break up old concrete pads. No more jackhammers. That's done, right? That's done. The boiler sections have been assembled, and the next phase is the installation of piping. As you might remember, we had 7 new boilers put in over this summer. Adams Garden patio improvements will be in front of you tonight. Bid opening was held on June 26th, and the roof replacement at 655 6th Street is in front of you tonight, as well as the Andrew Jackson column repairs. Was on June 30th, was held on June 30th and is in front of you tonight. The ADA roll-in shower, the bid package being put together, the architectural drawings are essentially complete, and that is where we've talked about before. If you need a roll-in shower, make sure you're telling your manager, because we're going to hopefully do enough of these that we can do them across the board on everyone that needs a roll-in shower that's ADA compliant. So I'm looking forward to that. Future projects, Frank mentioned the parking lot relocation. We're working on that actively, and again, in anticipation for a year from now, breaking ground. And the HHA callback system, we do have a temporary fix that we'll be testing next week. Let's keep knocking on wood. Our consultant thinks he understands what the problem is, to be able to call and let people in. I know it's been a long time coming, and will continue to work. If this doesn't work, we're going to have to replace the system. I hate to say that because I don't want to spend that kind of money, but we're going to try to get this thing fixed and take it from there. That's special projects. I should mention here that we have talked to the Finance Committee about this, but we haven't met with the Capital Improvement Redevelopment Committee yet. Commissioner Testa, we're having our orientation with Commissioner Testa next week, so we'll be setting that committee up a little bit more as we talk. But what we talked about doing, I think, is the procurement committee, the finance procurement, has always done RFPs. We're talking about attorneys, professional services, have always come through that committee, right? What we haven't done in the past is bring through a good committee our capital improvement projects. The roofing at 655 that I just mentioned, that's in front of you tonight. The roofing project that's in front of you tonight. The project over at Adams where we're having to do redo on the patio work. When we come in and do a boiler bid, all of that. That is now going to come through the capital improvement redevelopment committee for review. What we've been kind of doing so far is telling the chair and vice chair, hey, we've got this, and would you guys sponsor it? And giving them a quick review, and they've been sponsoring it. So I think what we want to do is start getting those as we get a capital improvement redevelopment cycle started with our new wonderful commissioner who has that experience, right, as an architect. So we'll be glad to get that going. Management report. The management snapshot is over as attachment 3. You can see that our occupancy is running 95, 96, 95%. We have been in the past at that 98%. We're going to be working hard to get that back up to that level. We've had some evictions. We've had a bunch of move-outs. We are going to be talking to an architectural firm that we've got on retainer that we're going to be doing a bid for a number of vacant units. And then continue with our Local 55, which is our unit turnover crew, but we've got a few too many units. We don't want to bring in another crew from Local 55. So our plan right now is to meet with the architectural firm. We did this about 2 years ago, and we bid out about 40 units, and it worked really well. But we got 40 units done fairly quickly. Of course, you got to go through bidding, but once the bidding was done, it happened fairly quickly. So we're going to explore that process over the next month and see if it makes sense, and of course, come to the Capital Improvement Redevelopment Committee. Welcome. A new report entitled the Finance Committee Dashboard for Management is included as attachment 4. And I'm wondering, would it be appropriate for Frank and Commissioner Edwards to talk about this? Because Commissioner Edwards has really pushed this. Thank you. And we think it's a great report. And you guys can.
And I think you made an excellent comment today, and I'll share. We called it the Finance Committee Dashboard because we were meeting with Finance, but the truth of the matter is that this is only a portion of the Finance Committee. Yeah. So moving forward, we'll rename it to either Accounts Receivable or TAR or something that's more appropriate. So thank you, Director. That's a good catch on that. Yes, and to your point, and that's what I was saying before, as we've been working together on creating these dashboards, the whole point is to give us tools to be able to see it from month to month and follow these trends and try to catch things. Sometimes, I know I'm a visual learner, and sometimes just seeing things, it's a little bit easier than looking at Excel sheets. So that's what we've been pushing towards. The picture that you see here in front of you is that, unfortunately, we continue to struggle with accounts receivable, right? So we are in court. I want to give you a little update on that directly from Matt. He was able to speak with the court today. Of the 25 pending warrants that are available that are just pending a lockout right now, I think those are going to be moving fairly quick in maybe the next week or so, unfortunately. So that is, we had talked a little bit about it last month, that, this might be coming through working through committees as well. And I know that Jasenia is working with the city, a team, on trying to put together resources for them. And I think the idea of putting a video together, and I think folks are getting together to put a video that we can do shortly in the next week or so. That is going to be a very good outreach tool, and our hope is that it's going to be not from the perspective of the Housing Authority, but from our community leaders and the people who normally support the community. So we have some good folks who are willing to step up and help us with the video. So that should be coming out. But basically the message is, I know that we're at this point because we're still suffering from post-COVID effects, right? People wind up falling behind on rent. they never caught up. And now we're at this point where it became amounts that were so large people couldn't deal with them. We tried to go through the process of repayment agreements. That is one of the categories here in the middle of the page that you see is in-house repayment agreements versus court-ordered repayment agreements. In the beginning, obviously, we had these large numbers of in-house repayment agreements. Unfortunately, as those defaulted, they've dwindled down, and then they become either a court-order agreement or they become a write-off. And at that point, that means that there was an eviction. So none of those are good results either way, but we keep moving forward and we keep pushing, and the message is that at the end of the day, we can't operate without collecting rent. Yes, we get subsidy. Yes, we might have future opportunities, but our bread and butter is rent. We need to collect rent from our tenants. So we're going to get through this, and we're going to have, now we have these 25 coming up, and I think that, you know, for better or worse, some of the families that had not been aware of how serious this is might see it now. So my heart goes out to the families, my heart goes out to the staff, because I know that, you know, we come to work and they're not just our tenants. You feel for these families as they're in front of you, and I thank you for being there for them, and I know that some days you take the brunt of things that aren't your doing, but you stand there with respect, and I appreciate that you do that, so thank you. But as far as the report goes, we are continuing to move, and I believe that in the coming months, we should see some serious results now because of the actual action. So, if anybody has questions, I know that Jasenia is on the line to answer any particular questions about this, but I know that we did go through it, and the occupancy numbers are directly tied to some of the vacancies, and I think the best way out is that contract director.
So you want to take us through that last repayment trend?
Yes,
paragraph?
so the blue,
Well, we don't have color.
sorry, so at the bottom of the front, yes. So that's the repayment trend. This is what we have in actual court-ordered repayment agreements. So as the months go by, we got as high as $1.1 million, but then people defaulted. So as people defaulted, that $1.1 million has now come down to 510 because we had to cancel those repayment agreements, those court-ordered repayment agreements. So the minute you cancel that, then it looks like it's going down, but it's going down not because we got paid. It's going down because, unfortunately, we're evicting.
Any other? Okay, good, thank you. Thank you. So moving on with my report then. I would like to say in the executive session before I move on to management or maintenance that we've kind of been looking at the idea of possibly a digital court package, and we'd like to send you some more examples over the next month to see how you folks would feel about getting rid of all of this paper and doing something more digital where we might be able to supply either one of these babies or an iPad to each commissioner. We kind of did a back of the envelope, and Sandy's been playing lead on this, on what it cost us and the hours it cost us to put these together every month. And really, when you start looking at it, wow. So there are some commissioner and group programs out there that are packaged very well, that not only handle board packets but handle subcommittees that keep the records and keep the minutes, and they're really pretty impressive when you start looking at them. But I would want to present it to all of you over the next month or so, and be able to take see if you're comfortable with that rather than the paper version. Of course, if somebody wasn't, maybe we could talk about a paper version for somebody that wasn't, but it's something that I think we ought to take a look at for the future, because it really does work. Let's see, maintenance report. Last month, we did a lot of tree trimming throughout our sites. Thank you, Sammy. I think our damage from this storm would have been a lot worse. I think it was psychic or something. Sammy's on the line there. But I thought he was. I don't know.
Jackie Dunn.
Yeah, Jackie. But they did a great job at getting all of that. The playgrounds have been clean and disinfected. Painting and stairwells is continuing. We're also going to start a project on some pressure washing in front of our buildings. At the stoops and things. People let their dogs out, and Lord knows it's on those stairwells. So we're going to start a pressure washing project. It's hot outside, but the boiler crew continues to be busy. In many ways, it's a busy time of year for them. They're opening up and cleaning all of the boilers. We've got an inspection coming up. All the boilers are inspected officially every year. So we got to get ready for that, making sure they're in shape. Boiler replacement project is coming along. The crumbling pads, as I mentioned earlier, are done. The next step is the fittings and the piping installation. It will take most of the summer to complete, but they're on target for getting ready for the next year. We are working on the water treatment for the new boilers. We are also taking a look at identifying funds for the replacement. And Greg doesn't mention this in his report, but we're trying to figure out within our capital fund budgets. We still have a number of sites where we do not have two boilers operating. So we're comfortable when we get all of our sites with the original two boilers, because you want a boiler running and you want a backup boiler there at each site. Once it happened to us that we didn't have a backup boiler, and we could have bought 3 boilers for the amount it cost us to bring in a temporary boiler for a month. So we're going to be pushing that hopefully before the snow flies. And it's right around the corner, isn't it? Hate to say it, but it is. So, finance, consolidated operating budget is attached. I did make a mistake, and it's the April 30th, not the March 31st. Sorry about that. We've been working on the Housing Choice Voucher budgets assignments from the Finance Committee and CDBG funding. And then I can talk a little bit about handing this over to Becky to give her resident services report. Becky, are you good?
I'm good, Mr. Eccles.
And is Angel good?
Good. What is it, Angel?
Hoboken Housing Board Meeting, Resident Services Report, Thursday, July 9th, 2026.
Elderly disabled housing units, activities and events for Monroe Gardens, Adams Gardens, and Fox Hill Gardens.
In Monroe Gardens, we have bingo on Tuesdays at 6 p.m., food pantry every other Friday at 8 a.m., Dr. Purissima, podiatrist once a month, St. Peter Christian Church, Sundays at 9 a.m., exercise classes on Wednesdays at 10 a.m., and gentlemen's social on Saturdays at 10 a.m. In Adams Gardens, we have bingo on Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., and a special bingo on Saturday, July 18th at 5 p.m. Dr. Purissima, podiatrist, every month. Tune in together every other Friday at 2 p.m. Sip and Paint on Wednesday, July 29th at 1 p.m. Movie matinee, Friday, July 17th at 1 p.m. And Adams Gardens Picnic on Friday the 10th at 1 p.m.
In Fox Hill Gardens, we have bingo on Wednesdays at 7 p.m., pastoral care on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m., Dr. Purissima, podiatrist every other month, movie night Fridays at 7 p.m., band resistant exercise classes Wednesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. and Hoboken United Tenants starting every other Saturday at 10 a.m. Family housing units, activities and events for Andrew Jackson Gardens, Harrison Gardens, and Christopher Columbus Gardens. For adults, we have bingo at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Fridays at 6 p.m. and the Christopher Columbus Gardens Community Room on Fridays at 7 p.m. Pastoral care in the Harrison Gardens Community Room on Fridays at 7 p.m. Trending into a new life in the Harrison Gardens Community Room every other Thursday at 6:30 p.m. and Different Minds, One Community at the Harrison Gardens Community Room month. For kids, we have Streetlight Ministries breakfast program at the Monroe Gardens Community Room on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 6:30 a.m. 10 Reasons at the Harrison Gardens Community Room on Mondays and Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Amazing Truth Society Over Health at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 3:30 p.m. and Amazing Truth Society Karate Program at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. We also have Amazing Truth Society Drum Circle at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Mondays at 3 p.m. and Amazing Truth Society Guitar Lessons at the Annie Forbes Community Room on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Resources. Subscribe to Pixel and stay ahead. Register today by scanning the QR code with your phone. You can stay up to date with maintenance issues, event announcements, updates, and important advisories. Hope's Food Pantry, Fresh by Pajama Cafe, free produce, bi-weekly, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., located at the Harrison Gardens Community. Please scan the QR code for more information.
Becky, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I wanted to mention the Hoops for Lulu event. It's July 25th and 26th, starting at 10 a.m.
Hang on a minute, Becky.
What date is that, Becky, again?
Hang on a second. Hoops for N-U-N-U. Okay. Sorry, Becky, we needed to spell something out.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble here. So on July 25th and July 26th, we're having Hooping for Lulu. It's a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday, July 25th, July 26th, and it's from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at our basketball courts near 560 Marshall Drive.
I think you've been working on the Camel Beach trip?
I have. So sign-ups are going well. Everything's pretty much on track. Everybody's excited. I have my chaperones, 2 of them, which is Barbara and Erica. I'm sorry, I have my little boy here sitting on my lap giving me trouble. And that's pretty much it. The summer trip is on August 3rd.
August 3rd is now, so if you want to sign up, come on and see us. I've been promised there is a lazy river there, which is my thing. Getting that tube and just float around.
Everyone is really excited about this specific park. The last time I went was over 10 years ago, but everybody says it's a great park, so I'm excited about it as well.
It's always a great day. I would like to add that we had our resident advisory board meeting this past week on Tuesday. We kind of reviewed event procedures, what's coming up. We talked quite a bit about gardens and planting. We need to work on getting hoses a little bit more and outside water spigots working and a procedure for that. Sometimes a number of years ago, somebody kind of turned off our water spigots. And I've run across this elsewhere too. People are using our water outside. Well, yeah, but when you want a garden or you want the place to look good, you also need some water. So we're working on that. I'm getting that going, particularly here at Fox Hill and at Monroe and Adams as well. That was our new Harrison president, Sandy Pippett's first meeting, and went very well for her. So I think that will end my report. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're now moving to public portion. As you all know, you have 5 minutes to speak. I just ask everyone to be respectful when you come up to the microphone. And we have Jorge Muriel.
Hi again. My name is Jorge Muriel. Jorge Muriel. Thank you all for coming and thank you for those on TV. I have a little bit of problems here. You know, we have tenants here that keep the water running and things go through the ceiling all the time. You know, there were people down here yesterday laying dominoes at the tables. Suppose one of those tiles with all the heavy water hits someone in the head. You know, it's not right. You just gotta tell these tenants to be careful with the water running. It's not the first time, and it's the same tenants again. They gotta get some kind of warning, because that's not right for the people that are down here. And also, Danny and David, they do a good job. They try to do a good job every time there's a leak, you know. But yesterday was a tremendous leak. I had to cancel bingo after I brought ice cream for everybody. Now I eat it by myself. But that's not right. They can't come here to bingo because of a flood, because it was dirty water. That's not right. And like he said, the spigot, they gotta be fixed, because I'm not gonna be carrying water to the front all the time to water the plants. We wanna make this place look nice. And I got Maria and me watering the plants. If we don't have water, we gotta carry buckets. That's not good either. And your cleaning ladies, they're the worst I've seen. They're really bad. I'm sorry. This building hasn't been cleaned upstairs for almost 2 weeks. They clean today because they know you are here. The stink of the gas upstairs is horrible sometimes. Okay? Tape on the floor. Who puts tape on the floor? Do they go in their houses and put tape on the floor? No. They come into the community room. You can see it right there. And the cleaning ladies don't have the decency to peel it off. They leave it there for weeks. You know, when they take that tape, you're going to see the residue, the marks, because they've been mopping on the floor. They put up the chairs on the table and leave them there for the old ladies to take them off. One of these days, that chairs, or no lady's going to pick it, it's going to fall with it and hit them on their legs. That's not right either. If they don't want to work here, Sammy don't want to work here, I don't understand why they don't want to come here and help us keep this clean. That's all we ask for. And there's a problem on 414 Marshall Drive with the smoking. There's a kid downstairs that has cancer. You know, he's going through chemo. I understand that the person smokes. There are things that they can do to stop. There are sprays that goes on that kills the smell right away. Or go in the bathroom and smoke through the vent that goes outside, even though you're not supposed to smoke. But have your courtesy to respect the people that are sick. You know, I heard that she talked to most of you, and I hope you talk to that person, give them advice, at least so they could be courtesy. That's all I ask for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miguel. Mr. Miguel was the only one that signed up to speak, but I'd like to speak on a residence, as a resident. So, Commissioner Edwards, as you know, I had a really big problem with the answering service that we had previously. But I don't know if we went from bad to worse. I don't even know what to call it anymore. I actually had heard from several residents prior to it happening to me specifically that they had called, and one resident, the toilet wasn't flushing properly. They told her that was in an emergency, that she had to wait for operating hours. She had to wait till Monday to get it done. There was another resident, same thing, it was a toilet bathroom issue, same thing. They were told, oh, well, it's not considered an emergency, you have to wait for operating hours. The other day it happened to me, Director Recco, where my tub clogged. I called them, and I was told that this was Saturday, I was told that was not an emergency, that there was no way for them to put it into the system as an emergency. Those were her exact words. There was no way, and that I would have to wait for operating hours, which makes no sense to me, that you would have to wait 48 hours to take a shower. That's just unrealistic, and obviously, it's an issue, it's a problem. This new company, I don't know if any type of orientation was provided to them about our housing authority, how we are, how we run, because you call them, they ask you 5 times, what is your apartment? What is the name of your building? First of all, we don't have building names, we have ants. So, and a lot of the tenants, unfortunately, especially down there, don't even realize that there's an Andrew Jackson North and an Andrew Jackson South. I personally just figured this out recently myself. So if they don't know and you don't know, they're probably sending them not even to the right places. So I've been getting a lot of complaints about the answering services. I don't know what we can do. I know that Emma worked hard to try to get this company, but we really need to, I don't know if we have to go out for bid or something, but the answering service is not working. It is not working, it's not working for residents. And it's frustrating because I come home at 9 o'clock sometimes and I hate to have to call at that time, but for them to tell me I have to wait till the next day, it's not fair. So, Mark, if you can just look further into that, contact them, see what we can do. Maybe they need an orientation on our services. Maybe they need a list of what we consider emergencies. But I think everybody, when they're calling after hours, it is an emergency. It's their emergency. It's their apartment. And to have someone tell you that it's not an emergency can become very frustrating. And what upsets me is that at the end, who hears the brunt of this is our staff, the maintenance workers. Because when they finally get there, the resident is so upset, they're yelling and screaming at that maintenance worker that's getting there to do the job. And they have nothing to do with it. They don't even realize, you know, the resident's saying, well, I called 3 times and they told me I had to wait. Now you're coming, or you don't even, you know, like, why did it take you so long to get here? And I know, and I've heard it from both sides. I've heard it from the residents and I've also heard it from the maintenance workers. And I don't think it's fair to our ER people to get the brunt of it. So I think that needs to be addressed. I know the last time, I know I missed last month's meeting, but the last time we did speak on Ann McKay, and you were supposed to set up a meeting with them concerning some of the issues that we were having with the residents. And I know that, you know, on your end, the administrative end, you guys are saying it's working. On the resident side, I hear complaints every day. When I say every day is whether I'm walking down the street in the housing authority, whether I'm at work in my office, they're coming to my office. The other day I just happened to stop in at the main office and they were complaining about the information that they're requesting. I think we need to, if there is no issues with what they're requiring, right? We need to have a training for our tenants. And I know we did something where it was over Zoom or so forth, but somehow they're not getting it. They're not getting it, and the people that are there, maybe because they're in a different state, they're not understanding. Like someone said, my child is in college. They asked me for the college paperwork. I sent them the college paperwork. Now they want to see other paperwork such as their financial aid. And they sent everything from the college. So I, as a resident, would like personally to know, like, why do you need to see the financial aid? If the school is providing you with the information that you need to prove that that child is in school, then why is the financial aid a part of it? So I think, me personally, I stay up to date and I read and I understand a lot of it, but someone who doesn't understand and has lived here for 25, 30, 40 years and has never gone through this has really been frustrating. They're upset. They're afraid that they're going to be evicted because of the letters that they're getting. So is there any way, did that meeting ever happen? Did we get back to Ann McKay? And is there any way that we can do something where maybe a lunch and learn or something in the evening where we kind of educate our residents more on what they're doing, why they need it, and so forth?
Understood. We did have an internal meeting with them, but it sounds like we need an external as well.
Yeah. So, and then the garbage chutes that you spoke about, are those the garbage containers that came? Are those the ones that are going to go where the garbages are now, or those are not the big ones, right? The ones like that we have by 501?
Those are going to be,
They're going to be everywhere?
yes.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
not everywhere, but where, for example, on Harrison, where you see the open trash cans, we will now have containers
Nice.
that are
Yeah.
rodent resistant. Where the dumpster is on Fifth Street there, that dumpster will be gone. So the party place for the rodents will be gone. And they'll have a very difficult time getting into those.
I'm glad to hear that. Again, I feel like we do have garbage cans. Sometimes I'm not going to blame it all on the housing authority. Some residents see empty garbage cans and still throw the garbage on the floor. So I think it takes both sides, not just the housing authority. And I hope that that's not what's going to happen with these containers where, oh, they're closed, they just throw it on the floor. So maybe when we're having these quarterly meetings, we kind of continue to tell the residents how important it is. Like, we have new containers. We're trying to stop the infestation of the rodents. Can you please help us and throw the garbage inside of the garbage? So, and then my last thing as a resident is I also want to thank the police department. I did get a lot of phone calls the night of the power outage at Adams Gardens and what was going on, but I was happy to hear that they were going door to door, making sure that our residents were okay. And I do want to say that I do see a difference from when we started working closely with the police department to now. I think when we first started, community policing was not the first thing on their mind, right? It wasn't something that was being done, and I can say that as we work harder with them and get closer with them and work together, that I do see that down at the family buildings, community policing has become relevant, and they have been doing it, and they have been speaking not only to the people that are probably standing on Jackson Street, but I see them talking to the children and so forth. So it's nice to see that something is, being done and things are changing for the positive.
Would you mind if Sergeant says a thing or two?
No, please.
Would you like to say hello to us? I asked because this guy is our go-to.
Oh,
I mean, he is 24/7. He answers his phone. He makes it happen.
Send me a tip.
Yeah.
No, Sergeant Collins, Hoboken Police. No, I'm glad to hear that. We are doing our best. There's been significant police work done. There was a significant arrest made yesterday. You'll see soon in the media. Our uniformed officers too, not detectives, made a serious, significant arrest yesterday at 3rd and Jackson that definitely will help the community. I'm glad to hear that we have 6 new officers that just graduated the academy a couple weeks ago. Today I was out with them. We were down in the Housing Authority, 310 Jackson, 310 Jackson and 311 Harrison, going through the buildings, showing them. They were down there the other day with Nita Rocho, going through some of the buildings. We are doing our best. Obviously, we're always looking for help. Any residents that are still, for some reason, nervous to call or whatever, obviously reach out to any of your commissioners or building managers. Yesenia, Barbara, Yesenia, they have a direct line to me. If it's an emergency, obviously call 911, but if it's something that maybe we don't realize and we could get eyes on, just, get it to me, let me know. We know the concerns of the senior buildings too. We're coming up here. I was up here yesterday. I do my best to just walk through, and even if I'm running around and have to use the bathroom, I try to go to all the seniors and senior buildings, and I use the bathroom there, and I walk around and say hello to people. So it makes a difference. I know people notice me. Sometimes I'm not in this, just jeans and a t-shirt, but for some reason, everybody knows that I'm a cop, so it's not like I'm hiding it. But we continue to do our best. Anybody with information, obviously, could always call us. I do have a couple of residents from this building that do call me a lot, but it's okay. It's okay. I'll take every tip, everything. You know, and obviously, anything we could do better, let me know. Get it to your commissioners. Let the director know, whatever, and we will try. Chief Aguiar is dedicated to, everybody, and he's just trying to make it better and better. So that's his direction to us. So especially with the Housing Authority, it's something close to our heart. So that's pretty much it. We're rocking and rolling. We're aware of the basketball tournament. Police will be there. We did that last month. Myself and Yesenia, she let me know, and it's covered. So we're good to go.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for everything.
That was all I had, Mark. So I guess we can move on to resolution number 2026-0701, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to approve the meeting minutes for June 18, 2026 regular board meeting.
Motion.
Second. Questions, concerns?
Looking at the, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Looking at the minutes, 0604 was the adoption of the audit, and we made the approval contingent on, we actually made a new resolution. And I know we talked about this a while ago. I think we've kind of gone away from it. But my understanding is the minutes should then include these updates. So that what the actual amendment and what the new resolution was should be included here. So I'd like to table these minutes pending next month, getting them updated to include the modification, the amendment, whatever the correct word is, to that resolution. So I guess, well, you first, you made a motion and seconded, so what do we do? Where's Matt when we need it? What do we do?
Harold's here.
Harold's here.
So Harold, what do we do? Do we?
Well, if there are things that need to be added, I think your suggestion is be tabled until next month is the most appropriate.
Okay, so what do we do with the motion that's on the floor now?
We table it.
Okay.
Okay, so we table the motion to approve the minutes, correct, Harold?
Yeah, it's been introduced, so you need to do something with it. And the simplest thing would be to simply have someone propose that this motion be tabled for the next meeting.
Okay, so Edwards just proposed that we table these meetings.
You need a second then.
Okay, I second it.
You just need to vote on that.
Mark, can you call the vote?
I can. David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes? Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Gene Rodriguez?
Yes.
Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Matthew Testa?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Resolution number 2026-0702, resolution authorizing the payment of the monthly list of bills for the Hoboken Housing Authority.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
I do remember this.
Sure.
And I'm looking at line item number 70, and it's Slade Elevator Industries insurance claims and repair charges, $282,000. And then there's an attachment that says including an amount to due on our insurance claim. I guess I'm trying to understand. So we're going to pay $282,000, and then we're going to get the money back from the insurance?
We thought there'd be a question.
Yes. We owe Slade Elevator $282,000. However, there were insurance claims made on 2 large jobs that are detailed on the next page.
It matches exactly.
Well, off by $1,000 or so. So, the insurance claims are for the $281,728.68, and the insurance will be reimbursing us for $261,728.68.
Well, that's
The $20,000 difference is our deductible.
And again, that's that damage from the water damage down the elevator chutes.
I thought that, yeah, I'm surprised at the elevator chute, because I thought it was like the whole apartment or whatever.
So there was some damage. The claim is larger. There was some damage in one of the apartments in 321 in Harrison. And then, so that was a separate contract that was remediated through Servco that's already been paid.
And so our deductible is $20,000 for the year?
No, it's $10,000 per claim.
What's our max?
That
But we haven't hit it, obviously.
Yeah.
And do we have any other major insurance claims pending, or have we had any other major insurance?
Not since that. So these are old claims. This is from October of 25 and January of 26. Nothing since.
Thank you. I guess one last question, maybe for the auditor. Do we do a prior period adjustment then for this?
I thought Daniel said it was October.
I'm sorry, can he just come up?
When was the claim?
Can he just come up?
Yeah. So it's October of
So it's still the
25.
same fiscal year?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it, thank you.
Any further questions or concerns? Director, call the vote.
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes. Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Gene Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Matthew Testa.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Resolution number 2026-0703, resolution authorizing the approval of the annual budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2026 through September 30th, 2027.
Motion.
Second. I believe we have our...
Can we get a second?
Yeah, first and second.
Yeah, missed it. Okay. Yeah, so we went through this at Finance Committee. Bill, you want to talk a little bit?
Sure.
Our female is here, Bill Ketchin.
Good evening, everybody.
Motion.
Okay, so this is the 2026-0704? 03? Okay, so that's for the state of New Jersey. Okay. So, for all of you who have taken the financial issues course with the state, the Local Fiscal Affairs Act, New Jersey Local Fiscal Affairs Act, requires the 2 bite of the apple concept with regards to their budget. The budget that's presented is on a format as developed by the state, tweaked annually by them, adding, deleting, changing a little bit of the information. It includes a lot of financial information, it includes some statistical information, it includes comparisons from the current year's budget, it includes accrued compensated absences as of the prior year, and it includes net position. And this budget anticipates $24,086,809 in revenue, $24,923,892 in appropriations, resulting in a projected loss, use of surplus, of $837,083. In addition, it anticipates $2.5 million of various capital improvements, not using any surplus, all to be funded out of the reserve for repair, out of capital funds to be provided from HUD. Now, the majority or the major reason for the proposed loss and use of surplus is the dramatic increases over the last 4 years in New Jersey state health benefits. The first 3 years, the benefits went up 70%, and we utilized in this budget a projected increase of 20%. beginning January 1st. Well, just today, the state issued a press notice that stated that they anticipate health benefits to go up 22% beginning January 1st. Actually, and 22% is 22%, but the original estimate was 40% beginning January 1st. So the health benefit increases have outstripped the potential increase in revenue for this fiscal year. Now, when the state receives this and they see a projected loss, they will immediately turn to page F8, which is what's called the net position reconciliation. Do we have surplus to cover this potential loss? And as audited, your surplus at the end of last year, peeling away non-cash appropriations, which is pension and OPEB, for public housing and for the COCC, was $8,251,155. For the Housing Choice Voucher Program, it was $1,148,346. And for other programs, which is principally your blended component unit, Fox Hill, $777,071. So the $837,083 can be provided for by the surplus that's available. Now, if this budget, if the board so desires to approve this budget tonight, then it'll be uploaded next week, sent over to the state for their review. They'll have questions, and then come back to the board in September for adoption or for an amendment to the introduction and then adoption with the changes.
But there is a deadline by the state.
August 1st, July 31st, 60 days in advance of the start of the fiscal year.
So in many ways, this budget is a draft to the state and can be changed between now and September.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to make sure everyone understands that. We've been very fiscally conservative over the years, so we've managed to build up that reserve. But like I said earlier, this is the first year since I've been here that I've seen this type of issue. We are shopping our health benefits. So between now and the beginning of the fiscal year, hopefully we'll have better news as some new proposals come in. This is the first year since I've been here also that we are jumping, at least taking a look at jumping away from the joint insurance fund with the state. It might be time to make that move for health benefits. So we're going to see where that lands over the next 60 days. Anything to add to that, Mr. Amalaga?
Yeah, we had requested proposals for alternates on state health or health benefits, and those should be back to us next week. Our broker will be reviewing them, and we're going to be setting up a meeting to go through, and hopefully we can discuss that at the August Finance Committee.
And of course, this is the budget. The budget is a plan. It's not set in stone. So as we go through the year and try to economize, we will, but it's not really great news. Any questions for Bill? Or Emil or I?
No.
The budget as written assumes healthcare is going up 25%, right?
20%. I used 20%.
Okay, because the budget I looked at the finance committee was 25, but
I had used 20%, but then keep in mind there's adjustments there for what employees pay, and there was some new staff as a result of that, so it's not apples to apples from last year.
so going the other way around then.
Sure.
If we end up at 22%, this budget's going to go up by 2%. The healthcare benefit's going to be 2% higher than what's in this budget now.
If we don't change healthcare providers.
Right.
If we don't change.
Healthcare providers.
And then secondly, is the CFO assistant position that you said you're no longer hiring, is that in this budget?
Yes, that is his budget. Okay.
So that should lead to a
So
small,
that should
but
be something,
it's something.
yeah.
Thank
Any
you.
further questions or concerns? No questions, concerns? Mark, you can call the vote.
David Edwards,
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
Erica Seitzman,
Yes.
Matthew Testa. Yes. Carmen Vega.
Resolution number 2026-0704, resolution approving the operating budgets for the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Questions, concerns?
Same budget. It's just going to HUD versus going to the state.
That's correct.
So there's no questions, concerns. Director, can you call the vote?
Thank you, David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Matthew Testa.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Resolution number 2026-0705, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for patio improvements at 220 Adams Street.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
I have a question.
Sure.
So, just out of curiosity, it looks like from the highest bidder to the bidder that was getting awarded is 10x, and then the next bidder is 2x of that. Are we sure that the scope is level there?
Yeah, and we talked to that. Yeah. You're already up.
Yes. We did talk to the low bidder. They are comfortable with their bid. They understand the full scope of work. It is lower than the engineer's cost estimate, but we are still going forward with recommending award.
What was the engineer's cost estimate?
81,600.
So our review, I think, was we're leaving almost $40,000 on the table. And if things were to go sideways, $40,000 is a lot of money. So this guy was really like, I can do it, I know I can do it. I know it's a risk.
But we have to go with the lowest bidder, right? Isn't that the requirement?
Unless we can find a clear reason that we shouldn't, unless he comes back and says in my material estimate, I forgot to include the concrete. Well, we can throw him out. Or do we think he left out the concrete, or he left out half of it? We must have a reason to be able to do that.
And has legal reviewed it, because we've kicked out bidders before because the bond or the insurance and all that other stuff, that's all been cleared as well?
Yep.
If there's no further questions, Mark, can you call the vote?
Yes, David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez,
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Matthew Testa,
Yes.
and Carmen Vega.
Resolution number 2026-0706, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for roof replacement at 655 6th Street.
Motion. Second.
All I can say is look at the bidders on this one. Right, I don't think I've ever seen such a long list, right? So the BD team group at 303, I don't see this as the same issue. At least a few of the contractors came in close to that. A few of them came in obviously double, but they're in the 300 range. So I'm pretty comfortable with this one as opposed to the last one.
Questions? Director, could you call the vote?
David Edwards.
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes.
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Erica Seitzman.
Yes.
Matthew Testa.
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
Resolution number 2026-0707, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award a contract for Andrew Jackson column repairs.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns?
This was the one that we did some work with the guy that we're no longer working with, and this is finishing that?
No, I don't think so.
So where's the columns that we're fixing?
So, during an inspection, we found out that we had a concern at Andrew Jackson for one concrete column that was cracking. So,
The section where they south
Yeah.
and
so we thought, so we talked to our engineers, architect engineers, and they came up with a solution to reinforce that and make sure that it was solid. As you folks know, second of all, we did an inspection on the rest. There's no problem with the rest of any columns that are there. And if you remember, about 3 years ago, we did a full inspection of all of our foundation and column work from an engineer, and he saw no problems. So this repair is just better to do it now rather than experience any other large problems. Any other comments on that? I think that's where we are.
I think I'm confusing it with the exterior work.
It could be, yeah, at Fox Hill. Oh, at Harrison. Yeah, that project is complete, the exterior facade.
And that was the contract that we can no longer work with them, correct?
That's right,
Contract.
we pulled the contract on that, just to remind everyone, we pulled that contract from that contractor, but he only had about $6,000 worth of work left. It was actually some interior work, and our staff actually finished putting in those windows and finishing off those apartments. So all of that is done.
So why only one bid for this scope?
Because that's all that came in.
Okay.
Yeah, all that came in.
So RFPs went out.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
If the RFPs went out, only one bid.
a bid.
It was advertised, the procurement was in the exact same manner on all three projects.
And what did the engineers bid, say, this bid? Were we in line with it?
Lower, all three projects were substantially lower. This was at, I don't have it in front of me, but about $45,000.
Is that Clark, Caton, or?
So this project was done by Clark Caton Hints. The other two were done by the new firm, Icon.
Thank you.
Director, you can call the roll?
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Matthew Testa?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Resolution number 2026-0708, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to award contract for garbage and compactors bags.
Motion. Second.
Questions, concerns? Director, call the roll?
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes?
Yes.
Jean Rodriguez?
Yes.
Erica Seitzman?
Yes.
Matthew Testa?
Yes.
Carmen Vega?
Resolution number 2026-0709, a resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of Hoboken to enter into a shared services agreement with the Atlantic City Housing Authority.
Motion.
Second.
I can give you a little background. Probably going to ask. Many of you here might remember Mr. Ellis that worked with us very closely on our getting out of trouble status and our recovery process from that, as well as our initial stages on the strategic plan and redevelopment. He is a HUD employee. He works for the regional office of HUD. He comes in and helps housing authorities that are in trouble, that need HUD's guidance. Just short of HUD taking over a housing authority, well, Atlantic City's had some real problems, and he's there working. And he contacted me and needed a reference on a good architectural firm. So we talked about it and referred him over to Clark Caton and Hints, who we use extensively. And we had a joint call with Clark Caton and Hints and Mr. Ellis and somebody from the Atlantic City Housing Authority. Now, as a general background, there is a concept in housing actually in federal purchasing, not just housing, called piggybacking, right? Where we bid it out, we assure and say clearly that our bidding was according to state law, our bidding was according to federal law, and it was, we passed our contracts through the board with Clark Hayden and Hens, and then we attest to that, and then that housing authority can essentially piggyback on our bidding process and say there was already a bidding process, so we can hire this company directly without them having to bid it. Right? Following me?
Yes.
So that's what Mr. Ellis has requested of us. He's got an urgent need to get an architectural firm on the ground at that housing authority. And instead of going out for bid 2-3 months, doing the whole bidding process, evaluation, if he piggybacks with us, he could have them working for the Atlantic City Housing Authority within the week. So that is the proposal. I would love to cooperate with them and collaborate with them. It works. It doesn't cost us anything. And I think it does them a favor. And it's never bad to do Mr. Ellis and Highway favor. So, yeah.
Is there any potential liability to us? Are we covered under?
Yeah, I think there's no more liability than we would ever have if an auditor came in and said that we did not bid this correctly, and I'm confident we did. So that's as far as we go. After that, it's up to them how they use them, how they pay them, how they evaluate their work. We're out of it. All we're saying is that yes, we bid this, we bid it properly, and here you go with the bidding. And that's it. We're done after that.
Madam Chair, may I comment a bit on this?
Absolutely.
Follow up on Commissioner Edwards' question. The piggybacking process involves, as Mr. Recco said, HUD use of our procurement process, which occurred at the end of last year for the calendar year 2026. They can only afford themselves of the period of time left up until the end of December, and that's what they propose to do. Whether they go on afterwards and do their own procurement, or they come back to us if we procure architects again in the fall, is up to them. But in order to actually have a relationship between Atlantic City and Clark Caton, that is a direct relationship that is subject to a contract between them. And the issue of liability would be addressed in that contract. That is not, as Mark says, part of our involvement. We simply show HUD that they can use our procurement. The issue of actual relationship with the architect and any question of how liability might occur is something between those two parties, and it does not involve Hoboken.
Great.
If there are no further questions or concerns, Director, can you call the roll?
David Edwards?
Yes.
Anthony Forbes, Barbara Reyes,
Yes.
Gene Rodriguez,
Yes.
Erica Seisman,
Yes.
Matthew Testa,
Yes.
Carmen Vega.
New business? Commissioner Edwards, do you have something you'd like to? No? Okay. So if there's no further business, then a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.